You mean to tell me that the bargain brand Terminator from season 3 had the wherewithal to have on a bulletproof vest, but not these agents? You really gonna go face off against a devil worshipping killer and do what exactly? Hit some layups? Like, I'm confused. Who goes off with Carmelo Anthony and Stephen Curry to fight a devil worshipping murderer? Now, y'all, how is Hopper gonna go back to Hawkins? I mean, they can't just say he was lost in the woods like Will. What's up? It's Nikki. Welcome back to my channel, King Nikki TV, where I give you commentary on popular movies and TV shows. In this video, I will be recapping Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1. Now, I like Stranger Things. I'm not crazy about it like a lot of people, but I enjoyed the first 2 seasons. Season 3 was a struggle for me to get through. I thought it was pretty terrible up until the big fight at the hospital. The events of season 3 after the big hospital fight, I enjoyed for the most part. Now, I am not sure if I'm trapped in the upside down or what, because I have only seen people rave about season 4 so far, and I'm sorry, but I did not like season 4 part 1. There were some shining moments, definitely, but as a whole, it was a struggle for me to get through. It really was. I mean, after episode 1, I was kind of like, yo, I don't even know if I'm gonna watch this season. I literally turned it off. This season definitely feels really ambitious, right? Now, I don't have any issues with Stranger Things leaving Hawkins. I mean, even Buffy left Sunnydale once. Angel had an entire spin-off outside of Sunnydale in Los Angeles, so they can leave Hawkins. That's not my issue. The showrunners definitely didn't just put any old thing out, right? Nothing about this feels lazy. I'll give them that. Guys, I'm sorry, but this was some of the worst dialogue. I mean, I literally almost died sitting through this ish. It was so awful. Now, the writers are great storytellers, okay? The way things tied in and the reveals in the end, they were great. But Jesus, I just wish they could have done better getting us there. So much felt extremely dragged out. Like, yo, I was sitting like they could have wrapped this ish up way sooner. Hopper's story felt dragged out. Elle's story felt dragged out. Man, the entire Groundhog Day in the lab with Elle was getting on my last nerves. I was like, yo, if I hear this nigga say sleepyhead one more time, my head gonna explode. So much felt just needless. One of my biggest issues with this season, and child, I have a lot of issues with this season, but one of my biggest issues with this season are the new characters. Not only is there an overabundance of characters, but I just simply did not enjoy them. Y'all, that damn basketball player, that motherfucking basketball player, Jason, got on my last nerves. I was sitting like, if I have to sit through one more of his damn speeches, I'm gonna die. He was just so unenjoyable for me. I literally rolled my eyes every time he came on screen. I just couldn't. His speeches were so lame and terrible. Oh, they were just so horribly written. And I was like, yo, just please shut up. I was sitting there like, yo, the speech at the pep rally. I'm sitting here like, bruh, niggas is dead. And you talking about a basketball game? After our loved ones have died, a basketball game is supposed to help the town? I don't know, y'all. It felt silly. I was just like, okay, like if I'm borrowed parents, bruh, F the basketball game, my daughter dead. Y'all, when they showed us that name pep rally, and old girl came out to sing the national anthem, I was sitting there like, literally, I'm sitting there watching the show, and I'm like, are they really gonna make us sit through her singing? Then when she started singing, I was like, they are really making us sit through her singing for real. Y'all, bruh, did the plot need that? Did we need that? Y'all, look, you already had me look at Papa's pale, strong ankles, and now y'all got me sitting through this girl terrible singing. But back to the new characters that I did not enjoy. Argyle, Jonathan's new friend. Y'all, This kid got on my last nerve. Y'all ever saw that movie Spawn? Remember that dang clown? That's how annoying Argyle was to me. Child, I enjoyed the dang Russian soldiers and prisoners more than all the other new characters. Like, these characters got on my nerve. I enjoyed Elle's shaved head more than I enjoyed the new characters. Like, let me just stare at Elle's shaved head. I don't want to see Argyle. I don't want to see Jason. Like, please, don't make me. Please, I don't, please. But child, speaking of the Russians, Yuri got on my last nerves. I did not enjoy Joyce and Murray whole-ish in general, but I'll get to that later. I mean, it just felt like I did not enjoy any of the new characters who, by the way, were all getting a very fair amount of screen time, which aided in this season being extremely unenjoyable for me. Now, when we see Eddie in the school cafeteria, that whole scene for me was really terrible. I did not enjoy him. It was just so over the top and obnoxious. I don't know. I didn't like it. However, as the season progressed, I can say I like Eddie. I like Eddie's character. Now, I don't think things will end very well for Eddie, though. I mean, even if we defeat Vecna, the entire town and cops think Eddie is a murderer, and I have no clue how we could ever possibly change that. Because, you know, we can't really say, oh, no, y'all, it was Vecna and Upside Down. But I don't think that will even matter. I feel like Eddie's story will end really tragically. I think he gonna die. I really like Eddie, though, and I don't want that for him, but that's where I see it going. I did not enjoy any of the basketball players. And there were a few characters that I have previously enjoyed or didn't really bother me that I really just could not stand this season. I love Dustin. I really didn't enjoy him this season. Now, when we met Robin in season 3, I had no real issues with her. She was fine. Season 3 was pretty awful all around, but Robin didn't really bother me. I got way more gripes about season 3 than Robin. However, she got on my nerves. She got on my last nerves this season. She just came across so obnoxious and annoying. Y'all, was it just me? Yeah, it was just me. It was just me. Oh my God, her scene at that asylum, y'all, I was about to stab my eyes. I was about to do like Victor Krill did. I was about to just slice my eyes up. No, my ears. Y'all, also Murray. I really did not enjoy him this season. I never had any issues with his character. I enjoyed him in his previous seasons, but yeah, I couldn't this season. I didn't enjoy him at all. Him and Joyce was on my last nerves, honestly. I was pretty much just, oh God, like, and I probably missed stuff, y'all, because I was just in here I felt like I was dying. Now, look, I get the formula right. It's fun, comedic relief, 80s style with horror, sinister tones all morphed together. I am not much of a comedy fan, and I definitely do not like horror comedy. Mixing comedy with horror is just such a terrible idea, in my personal opinion, but that's just personal preference. However, I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. I thought it was refreshing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the dynamic of the kids. I loved in season 1 moments like when they try to fight the Demogorgon and Lucas pulls out a dang slingshot. Like, these kids fighting evil and monsters and using the knowledge from their nerd-ish fantasy stuff, right? The kid-like adventure and fearlessness and naivete against these monstrous threats was a great mix. Now, I won't say that I was a fan per se of the humor and comedic relief moments in the previous seasons, but I enjoyed the seasons as a whole. However, in season 4, I found all the comedic relief to be extremely cringeworthy, unenjoyable, honestly just plain annoying. I don't know no other word to label it besides annoying. Now, look, I get that I am not the average audience when it comes to horror. I can just tell from how people speak about horror movies in general. I'm true to this. I ain't new to this. I have been watching horror movies since I was literally 2 years old. Like, sitting still, watching a movie. I am not easily scared in the slightest. While most people All they gotta do is see a dark shadow and they scared and calling it scary. So I get that most people enjoy the comedic relief to break the tension, right? And I can understand that most people love comedy. I don't though. I actually really don't like comedy and horror, which is why I feel comedy horror is a terrible idea. I don't want a break from the tension, and I know that most people do. I don't want a break from... I want to be on the edge. I want my nerves to be bad. I want the edge to be as dark as possible, right? And I don't want to break out of that. But I get most people enjoy those breaks out of it. Now, this season, in my opinion, was darker than previous seasons. I wouldn't say scary, but it was darker. And I like that vibe. I love the visuals. I love the horror elements, how dark and heavy the story felt. I could not stand getting knocked out of that. And I can stomach it, right? If when I get knocked out, I can tolerate or enjoy what I'm given as far as the comedy relief. For example, I really like Dustin. So his comedic relief typically doesn't annoy me. He's a good character, right? So even though I'm not a fan of horror comedy, I can still appreciate it. I enjoyed the banter between the kids and stuff like that in previous seasons. I did not enjoy the banter this season. It was all just really irksome for me. Now... look, don't be coming at me talking about some, well, you don't even like horror comedy, so how can you say this season wasn't good? You not the audience. You not the target audience. First of all, if you make some good-ish, I don't have to be the target audience. I will enjoy it. Second of all, that was not the only flaw this season. Third of all, or whatever of all I'm on, because I can't remember the number, I can take something for what it is and enjoy it, right? Even if it is not my personal preference, I can be objective and say, okay, this isn't my cup of tea, but this was well executed. I like this. I do that a lot, which is exactly how I felt about the show in general. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but it's very well made and I enjoy it. Now, as I said, they left Hawkins. The entire crew is in different places, and we end up following different stories that will all obviously tie back in together, and everyone will meet up once again in Hawkins. Before it is all said and done, I'm pretty sure my least favorite story that we followed was Elle. I'm sorry. One of the biggest things I really did not enjoy this season was Elle's storyline and what they did with her character. Now, bear with me because, of course, with the reveal in episode 7, I get the point. I felt like with Elle's character, we saw her progress, right? Just to have to see her regress in season 4. I hate when I feel like the audience is put through emotional labor for nothing. Like, seeing Hopper die, but I'll get to that. Elle was held captive, experimented on, snatched from her mama. She got her freedom. We watched her learn to freaking speak, build friendships. Friends don't lie. And one thing that kind of bugged me was, okay, when Elle met her sister, right, we saw her move that train. That was the most powerful that we saw Elle. Because at that time, we ain't know she cremated one, like tossed him into a whole nother dimension. So as far as the audience was concerned, at that time, that was the strongest she had ever been. Her sister taught her to use her memories, right? To dig deep into her emotions to help fuel her power. So when Elle is in the lab and one is like, use a memory, I was sitting there like, but she already learned this though. So that was really bugging me. Moments like that. It was a lot of moments like that, but that's an example. But look, I get it. She needed to unlock memories, right? But child, how did she unlock a memory from when she was a newborn? Is that a part of her like powers and stuff like that? Because how you get your newborn memory, child? The memory of her mother saying, Jane, I love you. And I get it. We had to put Elle back in the lab to get her powers back. Though I'm annoyed they ever took her powers, but whatever. And I get the point. that we needed to tell Elle's story in order to tell Vecna/One's story, right? And we needed Elle's true story of not being the one who slaughtered the kids in the Hawkins lab and stuff like that, and how she opened the gate to the upside down. Yada, yada, yada. I get the point. And it was a great payoff. I just did not enjoy how we got there. And I cannot stand Papa. I hate it when Elle go to run, right? And they have her grab Papa's hand. I hate anytime she called him Papa. Y'all, look, Papa is a mad scientist. And I was so upset when Mad About You took Elle to him with unbeknownst to her. But I get it. Papa the only one who could get Elle to unlock her powers. He evil, but he got the formula, child. Whatever. But I did not like the moments of trying to portray him as anything other than manipulative and evil. He kidnapped Elle from her mother as a baby. They freaking did a dang lobotomy on the lady. Ain't that what it's called? Because they took the little joke things and electrocuted her mind and scrambled her brain. I think that's a lobotomy. Papa used kids as lab rats. He evil on count. Now, Papa is a great character in the story, but I need him to die. Slow. He probably won't, though. I also didn't like the fact that in season 3, Elle was finding herself and her personality when she got close with Max, and even she discovered her style. It's like they undid all of that journey. Y'all, why did Elle not have the same style in this season? She looked like a different person and not the Elle that she had evolved into. That was really irking me about this season. It's like everything with Elle character just regressed. I'm confused. What happened to everything she grew into and discovered? I don't like the implication that Elle is only Elle because of her powers. Like, dang, old girl ain't even got her same fashion sense without her powers. I couldn't stand seeing Elle so downtrodden and depressive. Like, how much we gotta take Elle through, my G? Why can't she be thriving until we gotta fight the monsters and Ish? Like, she couldn't have just been thriving in California. The dumbass teacher letting Angela interrupt Elle's presentation and say rude stuff about her dead father. I was like, what the fuck is you doing? Like, teacher, you slipping. You should have shut that Ish down. Y'all, that was so off the scale. The monster Elle had to fight this season was human. The form of a high school bully. I felt no sympathy for Angela when Elle knocked her across the face with that dang skate. I only wish that Elle could have hit the rest of Angela's crew. I did not see that as a lose control moment for Elle. They terrorized her and got physical with her, and all Elle did was stand up for herself, if you ask me. I didn't like how they were trying to portray it like this whole is Elle evil or will she turn evil. I didn't like that. Now, that roller rink scene was extremely unrealistic for me. I went to roller rinks all the time when I was a teenager child. First of all, it's going to be people there from different schools. It's going to be grown people there with their kids. You mean to tell me all the random people at the roller rink, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing at their school? All the adults that work at the roller rink, that's just at the roller rink, just all in on this together, just all standing around laughing, doing nothing? I don't buy it. When me and my god sister used to go to roller rinks and just hang out as teenagers, and we were just out, and we saw something like this, something that wasn't right going down, we intervened. Bruh, it was like hordes of people at that roller rink. You mean to tell me when nobody intervening? Everybody was laughing. Then when the paramedics are with Angela, and it's like 100 people just standing there staring, like, baby, what y'all doing? Why are we all just standing around staring while the paramedics are, I don't know, whatever. Now, I did not understand the whole, is Elle a monster? Could she be the villain? Elle struggling with, am I a superhero or a villain? I didn't understand that. Look, even when I thought Elle was the one who slaughtered all them kids in Hawkins' lab, I still did not think she was a villain or a bad guy or evil in any way. Not in the slightest. Not for a second, not for a moment. My thought was, oh shoot, Elle slaughtered all the kids. Okay, they must must have did something. That was my thought. I was like, child, the kids must have did something, because I know that my girl Elle is the type that if you don't start none, it won't be none. I was like, child, them kids had to be evil. Elle only kills bad people, so there must have been a reason. I never for a moment thought, oh, she could be evil in any way. And I didn't like how they was trying to put them implications out there this season. Elle never even want to fight. She just be in positions where she has to fight, where she stands up to defend herself or her friends to fight against bad people. When she was with her sister, she ain't want to hurt nobody. She only stands up against evil. So I didn't like that. The series trying to make the audience think that Elle could be evil. Or even that, Elle could possibly have become one. Was she shifted that way? No, never. No. Elle's story for me in that lab felt so repetitive and dragged out. I did not start to enjoy it until episode 7. Now, I'm already paranoid and suspicious of nice people when I be watching stuff. So I was like, why is the guard helping her? What's up with him? Can she really trust him? I knew he was suspect, but I had no clue that he was Vecna. And I definitely had no clue he was Victor Creel's son. I had no clue he was one. Honestly, it's probably a lot I missed, because like I said, I was so bored and struggling to get through this. It's probably stuff I missed, so I didn't put that together. I absolutely love that reveal in the end. The 1 versus 11 showdown was amazing. And I just know that the Elle versus Vecna showdown will be even more amazing, because one says in the show, each person I kill, I become stronger. They become a part of me. So by the time we get the Vecna versus Elle, he will be even stronger than he was during their first battle. Now, y'all, in season 1, when Papa was sending Elle into the upside down, remember when she saw Barbara dead in the pool? Was Papa trying to find one in there? Is that what they was doing? Because I always was confused why they was in there messing with the gate and the upside down and all that ish. I don't know. I'm wondering though, if it was because Elle banished one to the upside down. But maybe I'm thinking too far into it. I might be reaching. I really enjoy Vecna as this season's villain. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. Love that Robert Englund made a cameo as Victor Creel. Now, y'all, why Victor Creel cut his eyes and not his throat if he was trying to kill himself and, be with his family? He said he wanted to join his family. I will say at least he don't have to live knowing that it was his own son that did all this ish. For me, the dream stuff is the scariest scenario, because the heck am I supposed to do in a dream? Especially when the dream is their world. Like Freddy Krueger controls the dream world. So, yeah, how am I supposed to fight against that? I love that instead of just monsters from the upside down, we got an actual talking, feeling villain, human behind all of this instead of just a monster. I feel like that's way more sinister to me. The Demogorgon is more like an animal. You know what I mean? And animals don't have those human-like agendas like revenge and all that ish. So I like that aspect. We get someone so powerful, they do not need to go through the gate. They don't need the gate to be open to get to us and attack us. We don't have to be pulled into the upside down for him to get to us. He can just pull you into a waking sleep to get you. I loved the visuals. The upside down looked freaking amazing. I loved the horror elements this season. I loved the death scenes. That's one of my things when I watch stuff is death scenes. This season was basically them kids. I love the bones breaking sound that will never get old to me. The death scenes were so good. They were brutal and disturbing. The threat this season felt extremely just menacing. It's like in previous seasons when Will would feel that little tickle on the back of his neck whenever the mind flare was near. It was almost like you could feel that tickle on the back of your neck throughout the tension-filled scenes. It was so good. Nah, child, the baby burning alive and screaming was a bit much. Jesus, I was like, Lord, them little screams. I don't want to hear the baby screaming and burning alive. They did set a great tone with the horror, in my opinion. I really enjoyed the trailer scene when the cheerleader gets killed. Eddie's scream was amazing. Now, y'all, everything in the Upside Down is connected, right? You know, they tell us not to step on the vines. They have told us in previous seasons that the Mind Flayer controls the Upside Down, right? If I remember that correctly. When Vecna kills, this kept bugging me. When Vecna kills, the vines stab into him and he floats into the air, right? Then once he's done killing, the vines unhook from him. Is this the Mind Flayer? Why were those vines connected to Vecna? Now, y'all, the kid who played young Elle was on her ish. Millie Bobby Brown was on her ish. David Harbour, who plays Hopper, was on his ish. These actors were all on their ish. You hear me? I will give them that. It was some top-notch, top-tier acting this season. Lucas was on his ish. First of all, I love that kid. I love that kid. I love Lucas. But the standouts for me was the actor who played One and Sadie Sink, who plays Max. That girl was acting. You hear me? We're going to get to her scene with Vecna later. Maybe one of the best scenes of the season. But Sadie Sink's acting this season was on another level. It was on another level. The actor who played One was so freaking good throughout. But when he turned into One, when it's revealed that he won, he was so sinister and brilliant and like a crazy genius type. It was very entertaining to watch. Something else I really, really loved were the voiceover scenes. Like, man, I love those scenes. The one where Dustin is telling Eddie, you've heard Hawkins is cursed. There's a world beneath and sometimes it bleeds into ours. As we see Vecna going after Fred, loved how they did that scene. Loved how they had that voiceover. Also, when Mad About You is telling Elle, there's a war coming to Hawkins. And we see Lucas jump and run in slow motion in the dark. And we see Hopper inside of his cell. Yo, the way they did that, I thought that was so freaking good. I really enjoyed those scenes. Now, the number one story I could not stand that we followed was Jonathan, Argyle, Will, and Mike in California. Lord Jesus. I was about to freaking die sitting through their story. Y'all, when I rewatched the whole season the second time, I just fast forwarded through them. I did. There was only one moment that I enjoyed with them, and that was the shootout at the buyer's house. After the guy from Mad About You gets Elle, which I could have sworn that it's against the law for cops to question a minor without their legal guardian if they're a suspect. Like, they could talk to them if they're a victim or not if they're a suspect, but whatever. Mad About You sends agents to the buyer's house to stay with the boys, right? Of course, they make a plan to dodge the agents and go find Elle. They get the agents to order pizza from where Argyle works, right? So they can hitch a ride with him, get out of Dodge City, go find Elle. But when the doorbell rings, it is not the pizza, it's the military who are looking for Elle because they believe that she is the one doing all the killings in Hawkins. Why they always make like the cops and the military and stuff like that, just, you know, the agents and everything, just so dumb in these scenarios. Elle the one who been saving Hawkins, child, and these fools think she the one behind the killings. Now, how the military just pull up with machine guns and have a whole shootout in broad daylight? I don't know. That ain't make sense. But this shootout was really good. Very well shot. Just an all-around, very exciting scene. But y'all, why didn't the agents who was watching the boys have on bulletproof vests? You mean to tell me that the bargain brand Terminator from season 3 had the wherewithal to have on a bulletproof vest, but not these agents who know that the military is out looking for Elle. That ain't make any sense to me at all. I hate that the black guy had to get tortured, man. I'd rather just get shot and die, child. Of course, he ends up giving up Elle's location, which, child, I don't blame him. You can prick me with a needle and I'm singing. I'm telling you everything. But of course, it's been set up where the kids in the military will get to Elle at about the same time as she has her powers back. At least that's what I'm thinking. We also followed the kids in Hawkins investigating the recent deaths. Dustin, Max, Steve, Nancy, Lucas, and Robin are up to their usual shenanigans, but this time Eddie is added to the mix, though we don't see him as much. Max starts off separate from the crew as she is dealing with the death of Billy. Now, y'all, I gotta say, I did not understand why Max was so broken up over Billy's death. I don't get it. I get the survivor's remorse. I get being sad your stepbrother died. But for her to be this far gone, I didn't get it. I mean, Billy hated her. He was abusive to her. Physically abusive. Okay, he did one good thing, bro. And yeah, I cried when Billy died in season 3. I mean, it was a great scene. But why are we acting like Billy was good in any way? I mean, look, he ain't deserved to die, but dang, why was Max so depressed? But y'all, I gotta say, it bugged the heck out of me when Max and Billy were introduced onto the show. Because when they first were introduced, I thought Billy was her dad. I did. That nigga looked 30 years old and we was supposed to believe he was in high school? Y'all, oh my, was it just me? The scene when Billy was in his room, right? And his dad makes him go look for Max. Child, the dad and the son looking like they in the same age bracket. Did that not bother nobody? That was killing me the entire time. How Billy and Steve supposed to be both in high school, but Billy looked 30 years older than Steve? Okay, whatever. I didn't understand why Max was so torn up to this degree about Billy. I remember when they were in the car together, right? Because he used to be driving her to school and all that stuff. And he did not want Max, her name escaped me for a second, hanging out with Lucas because he was black. And he like hit the seat or dashboard or something like that, threatening her, and she jumps. He would freaking terrorize and abuse her. But whatever, she's sad. Lucas and Max have broken up and she is pretty much on her own, separated from the group. Lucas is also separate, off trying to be with the cool kids. He does not want to get bullied anymore and be unpopular, which I completely get. Max ends up going to Dustin and connecting with the group. Max pieces together that both victims, Fred and the cheerleader, were having problems and both were seeing the school counselor. But yo, I was watching like, cause see at the time when I thought Max was gonna die, but I was like, the counselor not gonna find it a tad bit odd that everybody she's seeing is ending up dead. But anyways, Max goes to the counselor's house because she has been seeing her as well, and she is trying to pry for information on what exactly the cheerleader talked about in the sessions with the school counselor. After Max steals her keys, because of course she's not going to betray the students' confidence, they break into her office with the keys at the school with Dustin and Steve, and she pieces together that her recent nosebleeds, nightmares, etc. were all being experienced by Fred and the cheerleader. And this is when we see Vecna stalking Max in his little sinister voice saying, "Hello, Max." I can't say it all deep like he did. And we discover that there is a timeline of Vecna stalking his victims before finally coming for them. And Max figures she has about 24 hours left to live. It is when Max goes to the cemetery to visit Billy's grave that Vecna finally comes for her. Y'all, this when I woke up. I cannot rave about this scene enough. The Max Vecna scene might be my favorite of the season. The atmosphere, the tension, the acting, the way it was shot, the directing, it was so freaking good. Now, I would have preferred a gut-wrenching ending to the scene rather than a triumphant one. As Max was running and the boulders was falling, I wanted her to die and not make it back to her friends. But look, that's just me. I love Max, but I would have preferred if she died in this scene because I feel like there are no stakes at this point. Nothing really happens to this group. Somebody in the group gotta die. We need a major character death. That's how I felt. But y'all, all those rocks, boulders, not rocks, falling, and Max running towards the sound of her friends. Oh my God. Now, first of all, I was like, why Vecna don't just go over there and snatch her up instead of dropping rocks and playing Tetris? But whatever. It was shot really well. Such a dramatic scene. My heart was being ripped out. And I felt like I could not even breathe because I did not know if Max was going to make it. I was really hoping she wasn't because I just felt like, man, I would just make such an scene. I thought that once she was floating in the air, Lucas, Dustin, and Steve were going to see her bones break and watch her die, which is what I would have preferred. But hey, maybe I'm morbid. I guess. I be wanting stuff to just be as dark and horrible as possible. Now, child, when Max falls to the ground after floating in the air, though, her dang ankle should have broke. That was unrealistic. But anyways, yo, why didn't Vecna just come back for Max? She got outright, but why does that mean that Vecna just moves on to somebody else? Freddy Krueger gonna stalk you until he gets you. Now, while everyone was at the cemetery, Nancy and Robin were off to the library and asylum. One of my least favorite stories to follow. Nancy and Robin at the library. Nancy and Robin at the asylum was so motherfucking terrible for me. I had such a hard time sitting through it. Minus when they finally got to Victor Creel. I enjoyed that. Anyways, they're off on a hunch that Nancy had about Victor Creel. And when the asylum director guy said, music has a calming effect on the broken mind, the right song in particular that holds personal meaning, I was like, okay, music gonna be the key. Music gonna be the way to fight your way out of this. And it was Dustin, and it was when Dustin radios them just as they get to the car. And that is how they save Max with her favorite song. Now, the cops and parents, they on my last nerves, y'all. Like, I can't. Y'all, are the parents gonna stay clueless forever? I mean, dang, Buffy mama eventually found out she was the slayer. Like, how long is the parents gonna be clueless? It's really getting on my nerve. We on season 4, my G. People in town done been killed, and these parents still let their kids go gallivanting about town and don't ever know where their kids is at. Erica says that she had been covering for Lucas because he was away from home for like 2 days or something, however long. But child, I don't care if it was 2 hours. Teenagers that go to your son's high school are popping up dead and you just chilling, parlaying while he off somewhere. And these Gumby cops, y'all, I cannot. Officer Powell is now Chief Powell, and it really ain't no point. We might as well not even have a chief. We might as well not even have no police. I would not call these cops if my cat was stuck in a tree. I thought it was really idiotic for them to have Eddie continue to stay in the drug dealer house after the Scooby Gang found him. Because I was watching like, yo, it's easy for anybody else to piece this together and link Eddie to the drug dealer, right? No, the police ain't pieced that together. Y'all, why does Hawkins even have police? What do they do exactly? So the cops have a town meeting, right? Now tell me how they let the basketball player get up, take over the meeting, grab the dang microphone, and give a speech. Rile everybody up against the dang kids in the Hellfire Club. You think Hopper would have let that kid take over his dang town meeting if he was still the chief of police? I don't think so. That was really the dumbest ish to me. Like, and you could see in the frame the chief of police behind him just sitting there. Like, why should you let the kid do this? And something else I thought was really dumb. So the basketball player, Jason, is running around town with his lackeys looking for Eddie, right? Who everybody believes is worshiping the devil and killing people. Why am I running off on my own to chase a satanic murderer? What the is Jason gonna do against the devil? You really gonna go face off against a devil worshiping killer and do what exactly? Hit some layups? Like, I'm confused. Who goes off with Carmelo Anthony and Stephen Curry to fight a devil worshiping murderer? Now, after Fred died, I suspected that Vecna was targeting anyone with a secret. But after seeing how one targeted Elle out of all the kids, I think Vecna seeks out people with any type of trauma or guilt and uses it as his way in. So, of course, he was going to go after Nancy. But child, it is time that Nancy pays for her sins because it's her fault that Barbara is dead. I don't care. I have blamed her for Barbara since season 1. Y'all, I can't stand Nancy. I have never liked Nancy. Like, I cannot stand that character. And I hated that she was made such a main character when I first started season 1. I was like, why we gotta get so much Nancy? I wish she was just in the background with Mike's parents. We get way too much Nancy. And as I was watching season 4, just not enjoying it at all, I was like, hold on now, bro. If Nancy died, it will make the season worth it. Look, we gotta lose a main character. We have to. As much as I love Max, I would have wanted her to die in her scene with Vecna. Season 4 ends with Nancy trapped with Vecna. Under his spell in his waking dream, everyone except Nancy and Steve made it through the gate out of the upside down. Now look. Okay, we learned that music can get you a way out, right? It don't just take you out, but it gives you a way out so you can fight your way out. If Nancy does not die, this ish is going to feel so unrealistic and contrived because we would literally have to get Steve to somehow talk her whole body through the gate. We got to find some headphones and just so happen to find the tape of her favorite song because it can't just be music. It got to be a song that's personal to you. And we got to get the headphones on her before Vecna kills her. How the hell can they do all that in time? Nancy better die. Nancy better die. And if Nancy does not die, I will be very curious to see how they write this. Because right now, it's feeling like it will be really unrealistic for her to survive Vecna. Also, I feel like Steve should get some kind of infection or something from them dang bats in the upside down biting into him. Or something should happen, child. Maybe some kind of possession like Will had. I don't know. But the ish can't be sanitary. Y'all, why was Vecna taking the time out to tell Nancy his life story? He didn't do that with any of his other victims. So why did he take the time to do this with Nancy? Just because she went to visit Vic the crib? Is that why? I don't know. I found that odd. Now, the final story that we follow this season is Hopper in a Russian prison, held captive after the events of season 3. Joyce and Murray on a rescue mission to save Hopper. Now, I was devastated when Hopper died in season 3. I'm talking about, child, I was devastated. I thought it was really unnecessary to kill his character off at that point. I hated that they took him from Elle. I mean, god dang, the girl has suffered enough. And Hopper's paternal instincts towards Elle really added something for his character, in my opinion. However, as I said earlier, I do not like when writers take the audience through emotional labor for nothing. I hate when something just feels like a cheap little ploy. I mean, y'all might as well bring back Bob. Bring Bob back then. I also feel like Hopper surviving feels real unrealistic. The way they did that little flashback, but whatever. Hopper, Joyce, and Murray is the only story we follow this season that is not connected to Vecna and the Upside Down plot. Hopper in Russia was such a different vibe from the rest of this season. Honestly, for me, it felt like I was watching a completely different TV show. And that is not a bad thing. That is a good thing. Hopper's story was my personal favorite out of all the stories that we followed. Well, after Vecna's story of stalking and killing people. I hated seeing Hopper captured and tortured. I really like his character. So that was pretty hard for me to watch. But I enjoyed this story. I enjoyed all of the characters in Hopper's Russian story. Now, it did feel dragged out and repetitive at points. I feel like they could have wrapped this story up much sooner than they did. I'm not sure why they felt like none of these stories could get wrapped up any sooner than they did. Look, I have no issues with the long episodes in the slightest. I feel like it shouldn't be a set time limit for every episode. Take the time you need to tell the story you need to tell. If the time is utilized well, and I don't feel like the time was utilized well, sorry. I said earlier I really hated the dialogue this season, but I loved the dialogue in Hopper's story. This whole time, I was wrong. I wasn't cursed. I am the curse. My God, I love that. Hopper had such emotional, gut-wrenching scenes, man. All the Russian actors were so freaking good. The atmosphere they set up was really good. I mean, it felt cold, and I ain't just talking about the weather. It felt hopeless and dreary. One of my favorite scenes this season, arguably one of my favorite scenes this season, because Sadie's scene with Vecna was Hopper and the Russian prisoners versus the Demogorgon. Why can't I talk today? Oh my God, y'all. That ish was so freaking good. Hopper struggling with the lighter felt convenient and contrived, but whatever. This scene was so freaking intense. The brutality was so amazing. The Demogorgon fight was motherfucking top notch. I mean, he ripped through them niggas like paper. Y'all, when the Demogorgon ate the man's head who was trying to climb up the wall, Lord Jesus. Pour one out for the homies. That was crazy. That was so good. And I mean, I knew this fight was going to be good. I knew it was going to be crazy. I was really looking forward to it. I was like, baby, let's get to it. When the Russian guard, you know, everybody prepping for what's going to come out, was like, no matter what comes, hold your ground. I was sitting there like, baby, ain't no holding the ground. The ground gonna hold you. I'm so glad the Russian guard who was helping Hopper survived though. Now, y'all, how is Hopper gonna go back to Hawkins? I mean, they can't just say he was lost in the woods like Will. Y'all, Hopper died before Joyce moved to California, right? So how did he get her address to send that package? I mean, they ain't have Google and Facebook and all that back then where you could just find somebody. Also, Hopper had old boy hit his ankle multiple times with that sledgehammer. But during his fight with the Demogorgon, he was running and fighting and all kind of stuff with no issues. I mean, come on, showrunners. Y'all could at least had him limping. I mean, dang, like, can he limp? Look, episode 7 definitely gave us some huge payoffs, okay? The Demogorgon fight was the ish. Hopper and Joyce reuniting was really satisfying. The Vecna /1/Victor Krill's son reveal, the 1 versus 11 fight, for me though, it was just such an excruciating, boring build, not an exciting build. This season was really terrible for me. I mean, like, Lord Jesus. Look, steering off the original formula is perfectly fine. I mean, everything needs to progress and expand. Season 4 definitely had some really amazing ideas. It just was not executed well, in my opinion. I was extremely annoyed with most of the characters. I was very bored throughout most of the 7 episodes. Why didn't Erica get much of any screen time? I love her character, and I thought we learned in season 3 that we need to be utilizing Erica. I did not enjoy the constant switching between stories, and it was the moments that they chose to do the switch that was really killing me. Like, man, y'all fucking up the vibe. Like, I'm in this ish, and then you pull me in something else. The switch between stories felt really jarring at points. I think I would have preferred like maybe a full episode dedicated to Hopper and Russia, wrap that storyline up or something. I don't know, y'all. Because the storylines felt dragged out. It's like they wanted everything to end at this set point, but it was like, come on, bro, some of this ish could have ended. Or maybe they could have done the switch, but maybe we shouldn't have followed so many stories. I don't know. I ain't the showrunners. I just know I ain't enjoy it. It feels like the gang has not had any maturity or growth, and that was really bugging me this season. I love Dustin, but he's the exact same. Steve too. I mean, where's the progression? I love the dynamic of the gang in earlier seasons, but the kids just did not seem to have that same charm this season. Maybe because they were in different places and they weren't all together for that set dynamic. I still love Dustin and Lucas and Will and Max. I never really liked Mike, but everyone was separate and Will was just so, he wasn't even underutilized. He was not utilized at all. And it really took away from the magic that makes this group, in my personal opinion. Now, a few things I'm confused about. The timeline. Season 3 ended on the 4th of July, right? Season 4 picks up on spring break. Isn't spring break in like April or March? I ain't been in school in forever, so I can't quite remember, but I think it's April or March. Elle clearly states in her letter to Mike, it's been 6 months. Mike says to Will, you knew she was having issues for a year and didn't tell me. They been in California for a year? Y'all, where did Joyce get $40,000? I thought she was just a poor little, single mama. Yeah, she got a nice new job, but $40,000? Okay. How did the Russians get the Demogorgon to just go back into his little cave every time they let him out to kill people and eat? How did the radio randomly turn on before one went to kill his family? Did Papa experiment on one's mom like he did Elle's mom? Is that how she knew the doctor? How exactly did Victor Creel survive? Because according to Victor Creel, it was the music, the voice of an angel. But according to one, he did not know his limits yet and released his father when he fell into a coma. Now, Nancy makes mention when they were in the Upside Down of the fact that her room in the Upside Down is in the past, in a past time. It's the time period when Will and Barbara got pulled into the Upside Down. Now, what that mean? I know that's going to be significant. And maybe if I would have been paying attention, I might could have a theory. Will Joyce's character ever have anything to do besides worry about Will and Hopper? Why did the Russians want to open the gate? Why are they playing around with that Demogorgon? I know they don't think they could train it. I predict that Will is going to die. His painting obviously is going to come up in part 2. That's going to be significant. It's going to mean something. Will is going to die sacrificing himself for someone, for Mike possibly, maybe Elle. I don't know. Or maybe it'll look like Will is about to die, but Jonathan will jump in at the last moment and die for Will. I don't know, but we need a big death. We need a gripping, just need our guts ripped out with a major character death. Maybe even a few major character deaths. Like, I need this ish to be devastating. But I'm not confident the show has the guts to do that. If it were me, Nancy and Steve would die. Will or Jonathan would die. If they bring Hopper back just to kill him off for real, that's going to be annoying. Because, like, why y'all putting us through this? Now, they have been, in my opinion, hinting at Will possibly being gay, right? But if they try to say that he in love with Mike, I'm going to be mad. Because nothing in this story has pointed to that. That's not going to make any sense for me. Him and Mike are best friends. He loves Mike as his friend, not in a romantic way. That is not what we have seen over the course of 3 seasons. So, yeah, that's going to be out of place. Like, I feel like that's not even going to make sense with how events has been laid out, how their bond and friendship has been structured. It's gonna feel like it's out of nowhere to me. Look, are y'all throwing me in with the Demogorgon because I did not love this season? Here's to hoping that part 2 of season 4 will be drastically better than part 1 was. But I doubt it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.